Hello everybody and welcome to today's ordinary council meeting on the 21st of January 2025. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the country. I'd like to begin by paying my respects to the traditional and original owners of this land and marine people. Pay respect to those who have passed before us and to acknowledge today's Aboriginal community who are custodians of this land. Do we have any apologies for absence? Okay. Declarations of pecuniary interest. Now, I have a perceived non-pecuniary interest tonight on one matter. I have a couple of family members who have and who do work in the agriculture industry, but have no connections to pecuniary. So, confirmation of minutes of the council meeting and annual general meeting of December. Item 5.1, recommendation being that the minutes of the council meeting held on the 10th of December 2024 be confirmed. Councillor Larkin and Councillor Newton. All those in favour? Unanimous. Confirmation of the minutes of the annual general meeting of the 10th of December 2024. The recommendation that the minutes of the annual general meeting held on the 10th of December 2024 be confirmed. Councillor Reid, Councillor Larkin, all those in favour? Unanimous. Very much. Page 2, item 6, Mayor's report. In addition to what is listed, I have a meeting with the recognised GMs that's the list. So I think we can go for Councillor Larkin.
There was also a hearing at council last one, December, I'm going to next. We had thanks for that clarification. Anything else? Yes, the Southern Tasmanian Council will what's this? What is this significant difference that requires a regroup really, changing from the SDCA format to the new organisation?
Because of the forming of the Metro, the ultimately form Metro Council come together, that's like the regional councils on a window, and there's been some regional councils broken out of the STCA, so therefore we need to be able to go. I don't know what, it doesn't have much power, it doesn't have the group lobbying powers of the vote. So the authority is being expanded, and that's going to go through a process. And will reform, we obviously need a regional council's voice to lobby for future projects or whichever comes along. So there are a couple of models that are being presented to local councils. And hoping to bring all the other councils back on board. So we have that lobbying power again, and it will be in a different format. So it's not just moved to it. Now, if you're happy with my report, all those in favour? Unanimous, thank you very much. Item 7 on the agenda, supplementary items. to go to post easement is being deferred and it's no longer being considered, so we need to get item 7. Page 4, council workshop reports, there's 3, item 11, work group reports. Recommendations, work group report be listed and received. Councillor Larkins and Councillor Terenius. Thank you very much. Can I open the
Through the chair, if I could ask the general manager for more detail on his meeting with the Dodgers Ferry AFL president, is that in regards to facilities or just general?
Through the combination of the councillors around their desires to access funding, grant funding to improve the facility at Dodgers. So, principally around better lighting, amenity. We just had a good discussion around that, other projects that are of interest to it. This is a slightly different arrangement in there where they own the building and lease the land off council. So in some respects it's a bit easier wanting to access grant funds. The assets recognised as theirs and it's in the books, but we just the process around preparation for next year's state budget is really commenced. I'm not thinking this year coming up it's going to be particularly but we've got a good relationship with that club and their Brian and Freddie's
And could I also ask, on page 8, there was an insurance claim for the sports stadium at Pembroke Park. Is that in regards to the floor or is there additional damage?
It's with regard to the floor failure. So the process is continuing where we've done the investigations and able to reinstate the report one to enable use until such time as they do, it's going to be subject to a risk assessment and infections. And then we work through the process with various parties involved, it's on behalf of the insurer as to the likelihood of being attracted if there is in fact the replacement of the entire stadium floor or just half, which is the floor one. There are some fundamental issues of what's happening with the week. Some time ago.
Thank you.
Thank you. A question, please, for Mr. Higgins. On page 34, there's about the Southern Beaches on-site wastewater and stormwater strategy, and also the public places bylaw. Would you be so kind to give us an update on how that is progressing?
Through the chair, I don't have anything in addition to what's listed there in the agenda. I've been best certified referring to Greg Robinson, health and compliance manager who's running the project with assistance from education. So I'd like to take that on notice and get back to you beyond what Greg's provided here.
So what happens? So the question is, what happens after is there's a draft prepared and it will go out for comment, or how? What's the process that is followed with that?
Yeah, through the chair, I have to confirm with Greg as to replace it to proceed with that project. I can't imagine why we wouldn't do public consultation. I'm just not sure. So
Okay. Thank you.
Through the chair, another one for Greg by the looks of it. The tender process for the organics facility, do we know why it's declined?
Through the chair, it's a good question. That ACCC took a view that the protection that Southern Waste Solutions is seeking needs cut out by labor. They reviewed that protection should be afforded, and so the application effectively refused like that. So it's a matter now where Southern Waste Solutions are considering how best to address that facility, whether it's the same type of technology or not, but certainly the logo processing facility problem absolutely required. And intention to be one of 4 owners of the business, one of 3 landowners. Their intention to continue to get the money to up and going as soon as possible.
Thank you.
I have a few questions, as usual, for the General Manager. You're meeting with the Glamorgan Spring Bay GM and the Break of Day GMs on the East Coast project. Can you?
Through the chair. That's the future local government review recommendations around supporting what the local government would look like for the East Coast from Sorell to top of Break Day. So it's something where we expressed an interest some time ago now around being part of the discussion around what may or may not happen with the water spring road. Certainly, I'd say it's on the public record, Break Day has a very strong interest to acquire some components of the water spring bay municipality. That's a mixed view of the water spring bay. A lot of the councils agree with. I think last year, it must have been last year, when they were, and that was put in formally, there was a majority of the councils that they'd like to be part of the discussion. So it's just taken some time to progress, and I haven't been actively pursuing it, but now that the ministers published the position, the government's position on those recommendations and expectations, the 3 councils will take it a bit more seriously and pursue it.
It'll be interesting, especially when we start talking Tasman again. Another question, the ongoing and emerging issues with the service review. What are the emerging issues? And
Chair. So we were making really good progress with that project. It's a really important piece of work for the Southern Tabs. Just before Christmas, unfortunately, the planning minister took a different view to the proposed review of the urban growth review as it relates to the metro, and thought that it was probably a bit shy of his expectations about what it should accommodate, and wanted to commence a process around looking at other additional areas to be included. And we were perplexed with, because state agencies sort of took a view that what we were proposing was success working as in the southern councils. We're trying to get clarity from the government about exactly what is the minister referring to, how they want to deal with the process, because our projects, 12 southern councils are otherwise completed the review of that document and have been put through the council's endorsement, so I'm going out for public exhibition, but it's everything to the ground as a whole. The regional planning coordinator is basically spinning the wheels, planning to do. So I'm not sure what yet, and we're just going to get answers there with government. So I would share that steering committee and trying as best I can politely get a resolution. It's a real risk that the whole way will fly, and the government and so the council will still look at that. So it's basically finished.
so that's the growth area that includes around it.
No, that's sort of that's what we're trying to encourage them. What other areas that the minister wants included that we haven't got them yet. So it's been a month since we made aware of his desires for that aspect of the project. Reason confident doesn't include Sorell, and certainly Mr. Clarence, I'm not sure that we're looking or Pembroke, but that's what we're trying to understand. We've based our review on a really strong methodology, supply and demand data, residential, industrial, and commercial. It's just trying to get the bottom to where it's going to play a big role in the success of the project. It's slightly frustrating.
Thank you. I just have 2 more. just to note the recreational water tank and Tiger Hill and Red Oak some time ago wasn't too good, and of course Primrose Sands Beach is still closed for swimming. Do people take notice of those signs, or are they still swimming down there?
That's a pretty, you have to take a notice. I know Swanky Greg, late last week, with that pretty much situation, he had some interaction with some residents down there, and they were certainly being sensible about cleaning the waters and swimming in a different part of the beach to swim, but I'm not sure if it was ignored or not. But there's certainly some frustration there with the parts of this situation. It's impacting, it seems to be coming from one part of the beach, but behind that, and getting up into that part of Primrose Sands, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of houses, so it's not a beautiful issue of these. That's
Thank you. And the last one, the Dodgers Ferry sewage lagoons. Has Cad's Water officially taken those over, and are they going to pay for the upgrades?
there's still into ownership anyway, but as far as the project goes, it certainly has Water will be financing that road. The issue is going to be subject to what type of design goes into there. Not so much the school, but also the football club who connections as well. What the obligations on them to fund off the infrastructure they need to plug into the new system and ongoing maintenance costs of that. So certainly schools in the concern for those stakeholders who don't have any land, state government departments, so we're really trying to assist them. But still to lock down how we've got treatments going to be, how that affects.
I'm just pleased to see that Cad's Water has taken some responsibility there.
Oh, really good. It's been a very long process, too long.
Yeah.
But finally we get some good inroads, and they're certainly listening to council and others around how the reserve should be considered with not only rehabilitation of the existing site, but what future infrastructure might be, where we're going and how best to minimise impact. So, but yeah, it's a long process.
Thank you.
Good Chair, on page 4, the natural resource management report, just noting the natural resource management environment provided with maybe good note. It's constantly reports.
Just one last one, page 37, just noting the capital works and land improvements and buildings, the footpath, under footpaths, the Red Oak Beach access. It's disappointing to note another summer is passing without adequate beach access at Red Oak and South End. Don't need a comment, just know that.
I'd just like to make note of a couple of things. The public first, which is really nice. Last weekend, the Sorell Park Fund started properly. That was an amazing one, actually. I was incentivised to buy myself. So that was lovely. And also, you planted this free activity, holiday activity fund. Partnership with council and school planters, have a easy work to share. Free holiday programme, that's in conjunction with council, both against supported by council. It's nice to see the council giving. So if there's nothing else, can I take those reports? Good. All those in favour of accepting reports? Unanimous, thank you very much. move on to page 45, petition still to be actioned. I think it doesn't matter what Robert, yeah, mentioned, really reimagine as well, so.
I think that's, we're still waiting on the design for the two option.
Page 46, item 14, land use planning. The mayor advised in accordance with the provisions of Part 2, Regulation 25 of the local government meeting procedures, Regulations 2015. The intention of the council to act as the planning authority pursuant to the land use planning and approvals recognised in Article 3 to be noted. Item 14.1, Sorell Planning Authority minutes recommendation that the minutes of the Sorell Planning Authority meetings of 10th and 17th December 2024 and 14th January 2024 be noted. That's all those in favour? Unanimous and abstaining. Page 47, item 15, governance. 15.1. These are resolutions passed at the council annual general meeting regarding bonusing on the shoreland of code and recommendation was there for you. Councillor Reynolds, Councillor Lyons.
Thank you. I was just wondering, thank you. I was just wondering if, so this has been an ongoing thing, and I was just wondering if there's any update on how that's going and progressing in the context.
Through the minutes contained in the report, that was most up-to-date information I can get from Joe tomorrow. It's been on the public trustee and Grand Law about this for quite some time, and as recent as following the AGM as well, so there's nothing in addition to that.
Okay, thank you.
I am no doubt inside during the week photos, or go to use as evidence, so those photos being forwarded to Joe. We're still on the front. So all those in favour of the recommendation? Unanimous, thank you very much. Item 15.2. Resolution passed at the council AGM general meeting regarding the introduction of a tree protection policy. Recommendations there for you. One move for the councillor Lyons. That's the word started. Any comments on it?
I just have one question. If we implemented this, how would it be policed? Because usually we find out after somebody's cut down a tree.
Yeah, through the chair, that's a moot point is, it's quite undertaking the council to set up an additional regulatory process through a bylaw requiring people on their own land to seek approval to remove trees of a certain type and size. And quite right, Councillor, how you police this would be a challenge, particularly for dealing with enforcement. Post action being taken by home where they haven't complied with the bylaw, and the bylaws have been like to make it happen. The council is the head of how to do it. So that's more indicated in the report. So it's easy to say, it's not that simple to do, and it's has a fair few resource implications for us. So it's something you want to consider carefully before my recommendation for council that we have to pursue it. And the bylaw process to get that through governance is not within itself, but it's more the how we increase resources to deal with applications and assessment and enforcement. It's quite a cost associated with this.
Our NRM officer is part of the Urban Tree Managers discussion group. So there's several southern councils, including Manchester, who get together and talk about this issue and brainstorm. And there are different councils doing different things. We are aware of it, and through the NRM advisory group is on to discussion as well. So we are aware and what it does. It is hard to manage, but it's still on the table. Something we can. Just further to that, the NRM advisory group is working on finalising the NRM strategy and significant trees and related plans as part of that. So it may be that over time the NRM advisory group consider some of those quandaries that council has, and as is happening with other thorny issues, then sort of come up with some ideas. So we'll look forward to that over the year.
Thank you. I just want to mention that it's great that this motion has brought to us this conversation. One of the key aspects of people rating their places more livable and more enjoyable and as quality of life is linked to mature trees in the area. So having the opportunity to review this and see how we could keep those mature trees is just great. I just wanted to say that this is a great start.
Right, all those in favour of accepting the motion?
Moving on to page 51, 15.3, the resolution passed at the council annual general meeting regarding installation of sanitary option Storm Bay. The recommendation is there for you. Thank you. Item I just commending the general manager for the thorough report on a complex issue and responding to the unprecedented turnout at the AGM, largely because of this issue, and also the learnings that we've had since around the processes that are involved, that there's it's a complex and lengthy process, and that the report explains council's role, which is primarily advocacy and facilitating the information, and the recommendation reflects that. So I support the recommendation. Thank you. I'd just like to thank those community members who took the time to contact me about the issue. 73 emails from my community about the proposal to install fish farms in Storm Bay. Some of the comments I received, things like, Dodgers Ferry, it's more than just a place, it's part of who I am. I worry that the potential impact on our environment could threaten the way of life we cherish here. I am deeply concerned about the impact these fish farms could have on our pristine local water. These are an indication that the community is very concerned, and judging by the litany of devastation that follows on from fish farms, community is justified. The evidence is accumulating. Don Trapasto Channel, Long Bay near Port Arthur, Macquarie Harbour, and I don't want to add Storm Bay to the list. The risk is too great, especially to the critically endangered red handfish. They simply won't survive the fish farming juggernaut. I fully support the General Manager's report and Council's actions in response to the AGM motions. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. If I may, a question for Mr. Higgins, please. Part of those letters that we've received, like Councillor Nichols just mentioned, over 70, mentioned or asked the question of how come the report and the recommendation, I'm sorry, doesn't mention um, the Environment Agency as part of the advocacy. And I want to ask Mr. Higgins, where does that sit in that third part that says council results?
Through there, as Councillor Road and Councillor Newton mentioned, to try and unpick the regulatory process around the industry with the establishment of new leases or around plans. It was apparent to me at least that the greater benefit for council on behalf of communities is at this stage, given all we know is that there's a proposed area, but nothing publicly is being released as to the details and data's being collected, the modelling, the proposed and potential perceived impact, we have to have any information. But to me, it made a lot more sense that, as we discovered through the life review process, that dealing with the political level statement people seemed to be more effective dealing with the regulatory agencies. And in this sense, there's no real, to me, there's no real opportunity or need or conduit between council and those agencies, because agencies haven't really started to do anything yet. Whether it's the EPA, the NRE, and others, they're all waiting like we are for the proponent to complete all the documentation they need to prepare to go through the assessment process. So to me, council advocating or agitating to those agencies, I think there's no effect. Which is why I've instead proposed that it's a better outcome, I think, just based on experience. We get a better hearing and better consideration for the politicians, state or people, and certainly do things that we can't. We have discovered that we had a small role in that with the percent acquiring after review, so I wasn't expecting that to happen. So I just think maybe if it was months down the track and the proponents that put in the EIS environment impact and we have a public exhibition and council like everybody else can review that and put in a submission, that's the time when the council is served to enter that process and put the best foot forward as they see fit. But I think at the moment it's just until then, I don't know where they'll be. I see as much value in council doing it. It's almost like one of the better analogies, like talking to a law. There's actually no opening really to deal with it. There's not actually doing anything yet to this concept of organism to complete that application.
All right, thank you.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think when more than 50 people turn up in a night like this, and last time we got 4 people, 70 or 100 emails, and many of them passionate, we are obviously affected by this. I can't say that everybody is on your side. I can say that I am, but I'm not speaking personally and not for the council. But the point that Robert is making is you are asking us to address a blank wall. Even when half the time these things are revealed and the strategy is revealed, it's already too late. It's the fact that I think that you should be really probably thinking about approaching federal and state. There are 2 elections coming up, and they're both on the knife edge. And especially in the state where we've got 7 members in this electorate alone. Sorry, I'm interested before. No. I would think that maybe, I don't know whether it's our place to recommend action, but I would certainly think that if you took this to a state election, and if you can gather these kind of numbers in this one place, and I know that this is a huge issue all over Tasmania, you get the same theory in Stanley as you will down the east coast of Tasmania, as you will get in the south. It's a big issue. We're not going to ignore it, but we hate to have to say, what can we do about it? It's up to you to do something about it. And there are, major parties are both lockstep in this, as they are so often, but there's no reason that these people, good man, with these people, these good folk who elected us, there's no reason why they cannot get themselves organised through the many other single parties. There's a couple of parties that I can think would support you, plus independents. You could even run your own. There's already an alliance. But you have, I'm just still using our political judgment. You've got a lot of numbers that you should use. And this probably isn't the best place to use it, but we understand and we do need it.
Thank you, Mayor Gatehouse. I just wanted to say that it's been great to receive a lot of communication from the community, and it's great to see the community very passionate and active in voicing their opinion. And we do hear you, and I'm in support of the motion, the recommendation.
Councillor Marisol.
Thank you. I do want to make I want to thank actually not just everyone that wrote the letters to us, but I want to highlight 3 letters that I received. They were from children. Some of them were 7, 9, and 13 years old. And they took the time to draw and write as best as they could to express the need for the adults to look after the place that they're using now and that they will be using. It really touched my heart, and it really shows the reason that we are in front of this motion. So I would like to just bring that into the conversation, because this is something about the environment. It's about the people in the next generations, the children. So it touches so many angles and so many layers. And so it is a time for me to thank everyone that has made this conversation possible, because what I see in front of us today is the start of a collaboration. And I think Mr. Higgins has summarized that here well, and is showing that this motion is not going to end here, but there is a process that council will follow to continue to represent our ratepayers and our residents. I took the time to have a look at how many people live in the Southern Beaches right now, and it is about 44% of the municipal population. And so the sentiment of the Southern Beaches, it has a lot of weight, and we're seeing it right now. So, yeah.
Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you, Mayor. I haven't really got much more to add. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who writ in. It's great to see the passion that we have within the community. The passion, how many people care about the environment and our own backyard. So thank you for everyone who had the time to write in an email to all the councillors.
Right, there are no further questions.
I'd like to say something, please, Mayor. Look, I've been a resident in the Southern Beaches for over 50 years, and as the gentleman only just keeps reminding, I'm the oldest councillor around here, and probably with a little bit of background to share with everybody. I have the same passion as many of the others here for the Southern Beaches, and its cultural heritage and the lifestyle that we have learned to enjoy. So much so that I led the council and the community some 15 years ago in the fight against the bringing oysters into Pickwater. Something that I've still got on my mind. And it was over 15 years ago, and we even took it to the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we lost. That's just a bit of advice there. We now have feral oysters all over the foreshore to Lewisham. Today I spent some time reading the Legislative Council's report on finfish farming in Tasmania. There were 225 submissions. Mind you, I didn't read them all. I did take time to read some of the reports from the government bodies. I also read parts of the Tasmanian Salmon Industry Plan 2023. There seems to be a lot of conflicting information in all those reports. The Legislative Council report came out in 2022, and since then I think there have been some changes. But I'd just like to sort of end. This is the government's, and I'll say this with tongue in cheek, the Tasmanian government's vision is for a sustainable industry all Tasmanians can be proud of. One that is economically successful, environmentally responsible, socially beneficial, and well managed. You can all take that with a grain of salt. And that's it. Thank you.
Anything further? No? Right, can you put this recommendation on the, as the mover, have a final comment? And that is just to note the two areas that have come up that probably council needs to consider further, which is the design decision of the centre, which has been mentioned by lots of people, and also the role of red handfish conservation and how and when that might be considered. And I believe that will be part of the planning impact statement. So I partly answer one of the questions there. But again, as everyone else has said, the passion and the breadth of expression from the community, from all ages, from all walks of life, is amazing, and that level of information is inspiring. Recommendation to the vote now. All those in favour of the recommendation? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Page 57, 15.4, resolution passed at the council annual general meeting regarding maintaining healthy water tanks and drinking water. Now we'll do the Council Campbell and Council Larkin. Thank you. Any discussion? Thank you. As someone who's followed the issue of well, met the and I know the second of Sharon through many council meetings and meetings to do with the aircraft noise issue. I found this a really practical and constructive motion and a way to address an issue that's in a way that supports the whole community, and I think there is a quantity of information about tank water safety on our website, and there is a link to more information for the government website. Did note that that link was outdated, so it's now being looked at to connect to an active, updated environment. All those in favour of the recommendation? unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 15.5, resolution passed at the council annual general meeting regarding signage along Park Beach and due protection. Recommendation 34. Councillor Larkin, second Councillor Sorell. Open recommendation for discussion. No? All those in favour of this recommendation? Unanimous, thank you very much. Right, item 15.6, proposed disposal of public land, part of Lewisham Senior Drive Road Reserve. Recommendation 34, you can have a move, please. Councillor Larkin and Councillor Campbell. Would you like to give a brief explanation on this?
Yeah, certainly, Mayor. I wouldn't say often, but occasionally we have requests from the public to rectify unusual whole boundary locations. So, involves council land, it's public open space or walkway, or in this case a road reserve. If you were to spend the time looking at the title boundaries here in the state, we've got cross-eyed, and don't make sense. This is just one where the creation of the Lewisham Senior Drive Road Reserve many decades ago doesn't really much resemblance to what actually is in place on the ground. So we had an approach some time ago last from the owner asking the council to consider the disposal of the piece of that road reserve to go to that owner. And the way we go through it is through a DA process first, and then we go through this commencing here, which is the statutory process under the Act to actually dispose of what we consider to be public land. And it's a multi-step process involving public submission of the intent and the opportunity for submissions and a clear process associated with that. So we certainly advise those who want to pursue this that it's going to take at least 12 months, and they have to meet all the costs. And we sort of take, because it's so infrequent, this would be the 19 years here. Four or 5, and they're always really odd arrangements in place, and most are generally benign as far as actual impact. So this is another one we intend to get the process going, the stat process, and the DA has been issued the necessary reports that we want for the various process.
Any questions about that? Councillor Marissa?
Thank you. Yes, a question please for Mr. Higgins. So just to understand this correctly, this recommendation is to start the process, correct, of investigating this and
This process is to comply under the Local Government Act, disposal of public land. There's a very distinct difference between council land and public land. And we've had prior legal advice around council road reserves being considered public land. Historically, that wasn't good. So we have a different view. So this is to start that process with basically notifying the public their intent to dispose of this portion of it that will be transferred, sold to the private party. And as I said, there's an opportunity for submissions to come in. We consider submissions as an opportunity there. If the council continues with the process, then the person who put in a submission that doesn't agree can go through the test can go to the Supreme Court through so it's a fairly straightforward interview process. It just takes a long time to come back to council.
a follow-up question, please. So this land is not being used by council. It's being occupied by it's so historically been occupied by this.
Yeah, so through the community, you can see
The title arrangement with the road reserves
but it goes back decades, and there's no, in respect, no resemblance to what's actually on the ground.
Yeah.
And the potential for an owner to have an unusual road frontage going to location, it would be just in Sorell municipality, dozens and dozens of them. So, not going to bother to either rectify or to get a permanent solution to it, but, because it takes a long time.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, you mentioned sale. At what point, I assume that means that there's evaluation at some stage and the
Yep.
sales goes from that?
That's really where saying that the owners are required to give the valuation, plays up the agreement. And they're up for the cost. It's one up and do it.
Thank you. Nothing further? Can I put that to vote, please, all those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. On to page 65. Item 18, 18.1. Executive Summary Financial Report. Recommendation that the Executive Summary Financial Report December 2024 year to date be received in the next month. I have a Councillor Nichols and Councillor Wood. Open for discussion. Any other financial report? Councillor Reid.
Thank you. I don't have a question as such, but I would just like to once again commend the finance team on their detail and particular work, which makes it easy for us. So thank you. Instead,
It's very clear, lots of explanation,
yes,
very few questions to ask.
that's right.
But all those in favour of accepting the budget? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Page 82, 18.2, 24, 25, capital budget adjustments. Recommendation that the council resolve to section 82 of the Local Government Act 1993 to accept and adopt the lower adjustments to 2024-2025 capital budget estimates. Councillor Larkin, Councillor Reynolds.
Sorry, a comment, yes. I know that it's interesting to see negative amounts, an improvement in the budget for an adjustment, so good time to be doing it. That's all.
All those in favour of the recommendation, show of hands. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Page 92. Health and compliance, 20.1. Submission of the new public places bylaw. 125. Recommendation that the council resolves in accordance with section 159 of the Local Government Act 1993 that in consideration of the submission received the proposed bylaw contained in appendix 1 does not require amending. Councillor Larkin, Councillor Nichols. Very much. Any comments on this? Want to go through? You did go through this earlier.
Could I just make a comment that there was one submission, and I've got to admire the gentleman, I presume it's the same gentleman from Primrose Sands, who wants to stop the cars and bikes and anything else that's on Primrose Sands beach, disrupting the swimmers, and especially at this time of the year. he did try to get it into this, but yeah, unfortunately, not the time and not the place. But I admire his perseverance because he has been trying for some time. That was a little bit of side there.
Thank you. A reflection since we've been through the bylaw details in the past, it's not a question about the content, but more a comment about the Local Government Association's provision of housing and homelessness, and one of their recommendations, which is for councils to take a lenient and understanding approach when releasing bylaws like this, when it comes to public people camping at public places and recesses and things like that. So I think just a comment that perhaps what management and council can consider in a broader sense. It's not a requirement to change the bylaw, but it's something that the procedures in
I believe the enforcement officers who use a degree of discretion considering privacy and everything like that. So council is not that relevant. Any other comments from Councillor?
Thank you so much. Yes, on page 112, I would like to highlight the part 4 damaged property, which it's really good to see this. It says here, damage to council property. In part of number 34, it says, on council land, the person must not move, remove, disturb, tamper with, destroy, or cause any damage to. And then there's trees, wood, so the environment is here. And this also the damage to architectural and archaeological. So there is the environmental part, and there's also the cultural part after on number 35. And then on number 36, it follows with, on council land or within a public reserve, a person must not take or have in his or her possession, control, custody of wildlife, or etc., etc. So I just want to highlight the part number 4, which would be great to see the role that it plays in preserving environment, culture, cultural heritage, and wildlife. So, yeah, I look forward to see how this, the role that this bylaw plays in our community.
Anything further? Okay, can I put the recommendations to accept this? Vote on it, all those in favour? Unanimous, thank you very much. We now move on to item number 23 on page 131, which is questions from the public. We did have questions on notice, 6 questions on notice, submitted by resident Thomas Marsh, and the answers to her questions are written down in the agenda. Make note of those. We will now open to questions from the floor. I know that there are a couple of questions coming from members of the gallery, so thank you. I'm from Primrose Sands. Just a very quick one, they've already been covered. Primrose Sands Beach, is there an update on what's causing the pollution issues? Yeah.
Through the mayor. Yes and no, Kathy.
And it is a hard one, I know.
Yeah, I from the year before I mentioned that The area where the 5 readings occur is the same, and there's some indication that where the source come from as far as the material or the liquid water drains coming into the beach, as far as what's getting into it and where it's causing the high readings. That's, as you said, the number that we're trying to work out how we address that. We've had obviously now a couple of instances where the readings have been well above, so trying to work out how best to tackle it.
Second question, that's okay. Researchers Australia have done their community engagements back in 2024 through the year. They've actually had sort of time to actually process recommendations and a survey that they requested. Would it be possible, as members of the community members here before the time now, there's get information from them. And I think that it has been alluded to in this meeting that, sometimes you have to ask a higher power, like politicians and federal people. I was wondering, is it possible for the council to actually request an update on when they're going to actually release the information from that community engagement and the recommendations that were recommendation 4 and 6 about where this new flight path will be actually heading? And thank you. And one other final thing, which was part of the motion, you mentioned that we've got the water tank on the website. Is that actually, is any other information going out and saying that not before you rate the newsletter? Because some people do not actually have access to the internet to use that. That's about the water tank, the top, the documents about, we have got an ongoing issue, I suppose. The point that it was raised was to, not making a debate about airlines or air pollution, but the thing is, that sort of information about the quality of the water, what people can do to minimise, like bacteria building up in their tanks on their roofs, things like that.
Yeah, through now, just just check that it would also be not using our social media channels, trying to also in the Sorell community July issue as well, which goes everything anyways.
Oh, that's okay, yeah, because it just needs to be in another place other than another 21. Thank you.
Sharon, following up before it, could you tell me what stylus is? You mentioned that in the questions, STR, US.
Three of them there. It's a wonderful acronym. Southern Tasmanian Regional Land Use Strategy.
I did look it up at the back where you define it, but it wasn't there. I was just curious as to what you were talking about. So
Let's do that question.
So thank you for that. And also you mentioned you had a meeting with Senator Tammy Tyrrell. Could you tell me what that meeting was about, please?
Tammy Tyrrell is arrived, so apologies, we should have taken that one off the agenda. Waiting, but
another question. Do you have any updates on the commencement of the causeway expansion?
Through there, for the next couple of weeks, they'll be releasing information on the design. It's certainly progressing. It's not like we've forgotten about it, but the process to get the federal and private sign off takes some time. So certainly through February, we as a community will get to see what has progressed by way of the design.
Also, a query. The Dunelly Hotel, they offer free camping and that. There's no toilet facilities. When the hotel shuts, people are peeing and pooing all over the place because there's no toilet facilities. Does the council have any regulations in regard to that? I'm aware it is private, but Hygiene, there must be a hygiene issue there, surely.
Through the dam, and that has been in operation for many years. I need to take that on notice, Sarah, because I actually spoke to the new owner of the hotel today and told us several matter. We were talking about that, and what's required to formalise it. Because obviously it was post the bushfire, it was a much relied upon area for a lot of people. So we need to treat fairly delicately in how we treat it. But fundamentally, you need permits to do things, and you've either got a permit or don't. I'll talk to Greg and Shane, our planning manager, around how we're going to deal with it.
I'm just concerned for the hygiene aspect, and if somebody falls sick and they come to the council, what happens?
I did raise it with our environmental health officer, and he is aware of it. So they are, as Jan mentioned, there are conversations, there is a process taking place to get the correct permits in place. And he wasn't aware that it was becoming a problem. So he has taken us on board, and I will follow up with him next week on how that's going to be addressed.
Thank you.
Right, do we have any more questions from the gallery? If so, could you please stand and
Thank you, Kane, 182 North Beach Road. With regard to resolution 15.3 and a recommendation of the General Manager to advocate relevant state and federal elected members regarding community feedback and sentiment, can I ask what form that advocacy will take? What we can expect to hear you, the council, doing on behalf of the community, and how that will be fed back to the community members who have advocated so strongly for this?
Yeah, through the mayor. I mean, when we dealt with the flight path review issue, we determined who were the most relevant members to approach on all Tasmanian senators, because it was a federal matter anyway, so the data didn't need to deal with state politicians, but certainly we approached all Tasmanian senators and met with them all, and we're able to report back what the outcomes of those discussions were. I haven't yet determined who would be our sites to go to, but the state level people. But in terms of the comments back to the group, just will have a discussion with you around how best to see that working, so we don't either miss the boat or do too much around that. So certainly I was pleasantly surprised with the attitude of all the Tasmanian senators of all political persuasions. They don't feel a flight path issue. So I'm hopeful and also curious to see how they deal with this.
Can I ask, is there any precedent, I'm unaware of how council proceeds with regards to these matters, but is there any precedence for a member of the community to go along with you to assist in making representation in these instances?
After the meeting, we haven't, Jenny. Certainly with the flight path situation, those members of the public, the community who were impacted and had concern with what's proposed and the process, made their own advances to the politicians as well, and they proactively sought meetings with them and also pursued them and chased them down and put on them, and that helped our cause. It's just council doing it that has less effect, so certainly the onus obligation, whatever the preferred term is, on the community to also make their own efforts with the politicians absolutely helps. Like I said, just council won't have the same impact. So as to public joining with me to meet with them, I have to think about that and I've talked about that. I'm just mindful of the protocols in place. We've got to tread carefully as far as how we conduct ourselves and how we approach things and what we do and don't say and how we do it. And that differs to some extent depending on politicians and background and who they represent. But Yeah, I'm happy to have discussions about that around, it's got merit and not all, how we tackle that. I mean, council's interest through me dealing with the elected officials is, you know, we're genuine as far as how we want to advocate on behalf of those members of the community who feel strongly about this. So there's nothing that we have to hide around it, it's just, it needs to be given trust with council as well as far as how we deal with them. And the better or worse we get to deal with them a lot. They're all different individuals and, you know, have sort of nuances to how best to tackle them. So, but you know, we'll have discussions. And I should say as well, we last time with the fly path issue as well, the then which was Kerry, also next with the occasion for some of the centres, but generally the data was itself.
Just a moment, sorry.
Would you like to explain? To you, Mayor. There's a capacity, I'm Nat, new Director of Service Delivery. There is a capacity for any community member as well to approach any member of the state government to commence what's called a petition process. So any matter of public importance, you approach a local government to sponsor a petition, and that effectively puts the same sort of resolution process to the state government to the arbitration process. So that's a question of that, and that's all available to the state parliament.
I was just going to add to Jean's question as well, and just sort of taking into consideration what Councillor William was saying to around election, etc. And I take the point that we as a group can do, those petitions, etc., about the politicians as well. But could we ask that the council would look at this in a fairly timely fashion, considering that election occurring as well?
Oh, it's really, it's quite easy to get onto as well as far as determining who we go to and start replacing it. That's pretty easy and pretty quick. How quickly they respond, I want to meet with this separate matter, but us approaching them, it's not going to take much time.
Regarding Dodgers Ferry Rec Reserve, the Taswater settlement ponds, is Taswater indicated a timeline when they'll come up with the design implementation?
Through the mayor, I should know this, Peter. Can I take that on notice because it was late last year with dealing with Taswater around it and one of the blankets to the timing around that.
And a follow-up to that, has Taswater undertaken any water testing along the road to see what the current state any solution is, or
I can check that up. I wouldn't comment either way, but I'm
thank you.
Any further questions? That was a little tiny question regarding the tree policy motion that placed. I understand that there's an impost with having to build and by law and policing it. But is council aware of eucalyptus vulneralis in our municipality, white gums, and in our state, how sick and ill they are, and how poorly they're doing with climate change, and how many are reason? And have they considered the cost of not trying to save the ones that we can? Because they might be the ones who see will make it through climate change.
No, no, Robert's not expertise on that. But we are aware, and we do have some breadth of knowledge in the NRM advisory group. It's not something that can be kicked down the road. It's something that we're trying to make doable and the most practical, the best outcome.
So the
for council is developing their bylaws.
Well, we're certainly watching, and that is why people council are a member of the tree that I mentioned earlier, that did us attend the urban tree management discussion group. So it's certainly, and Cuba is one of the councils that are doing the bylaw, other councils are approaching it in this way. So it's certainly part of that discussion, certainly watching. I think we're all in the similar stage.
It's like council used by street practice. That's being discussed in India's stakeholders. So it's something to be aware of.
That's something that is definitely addressing in a timely manner. Anything further?
Just one. Sorry, I'll say just very. I was in the other room, so this has been covered already. It was hard to hear out there, which is in regards to the Flinders Island Council submission, they put in a motion opposing destroying Flinders Island. For this council, when that EIS does come up with the tuna expansion, can we put input into the council submission, or how do we know what the council will be saying in their submission? Is that a public process or have?
Through the mayor. What we haven't done before, I suspect all submissions will be public. And there's a hearing process as well, so it's similar to a plaintiff's get an amendment or a development application. You need to be accountable to your submission, so by extension, it's likely that it's to be public. So I think my preference without thinking it through properly, my preference would be that the council would put their own submission. If they do want to put the submission, and obviously individuals or collective individuals do the same thing. I suspect this publication, the publicising of this EIS is going to be unreasonably highly technical. So it's just for one, it's not going to be a simple, easy to digest.
Anything further?
Hi, Hi, Jess. Hi. My name is Jess Boyd. I live at 29 Pennington Drive, Sorell. Earlier, mine is more of an encouragement rather than a question, so I hope that's okay. But I just want to take a moment to, one, celebrate the park run. We've been loosely involved and it's been incredible to see the community come around it. And secondly, thank you for your support with Youth Matters. For those who don't know, Youth Matters is a youth drop-in centre space that we run weekly during school terms, and we've been running programs in collaboration with council during the summer break. At Youth Matters, our mission is in our name, to convey the message that youth matter, youth voice. Our programs are co-designed with the youth. We show up for one young person or 40 plus. So we've appreciated the collaboration with council over the summer holidays for 2 events, and also want to acknowledge between a number of council staff, Natalie, Penny, Councillor Larkins and the Mayor. We thank you for making things happen for our young people. Thank you for showing up for them because they need it.
I'm embarrassed. Yeah, very grateful you're here, Jess.
Bring the meeting to a close, and I'd like to thank the gallery very much for being respectful of our process and attending tonight. We've had all sorts of scenarios in our head. How it was going to go tonight, and I really appreciate it. I'm really grateful that yes, there's still yes, and I just like to thank you all for coming along tonight, and things have happened the way they have. So thank you very much. You're welcome. And we'll applaud you. I'd like to invite all councillors along to our beach rally
to fend off fish farms on the 1st of February, and yeah, it's something to talk around. Thank you.
So we're closing the meeting at 7:24.